Good afternoon. On behalf of the Kansas Wrestling Coaches Association, the Kansas State High School Activities Association, we're excited to present to you this statewide coaches meeting focused on wrestling in the months of January and February for 2021. I'd like to share just a couple of items with you as we get started today. And at this point, I'm going to go to a PowerPoint to share this information with you. Our presenter for today will be Mark Lentz from the Kansas State High School Activities Association, who is our executive director in charge of wrestling. I want to share with you just a couple of things about the KWCA. Our members for KWCA, our board members, are the individuals listed on this screen. You can see the different positions that they hold. We're always looking for men and women who are interested in serving the sport of wrestling at the state level. If you're interested, you can find the email addresses for all these individuals on our website at www.kansaswrestling.org. Go to the board page, and there you'll find all the board members, and you'll find email links to each of the individual board members. In addition, you can follow KWCA at the website. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And last but not least, you can follow us on Podomatic, where Patrick Kelly of Topeka Seaman High School creates weekly or bi-weekly podcast on the sport of wrestling and different happenings in the state of Kansas. Want to remind you that it's not too late as a coach to join the KWCA. Our membership remains open from now till February 1st. By registering by February 1st, you are considered a full member. You can register at the website, kansaswrestling.org, under clinic. If you pay $70, you have the membership, and you'll have the remaining days of the virtual clinic, about 3 weeks of the virtual clinic that's still left. $45 is membership only. And that's important that you're a member by February 1st in order to receive awards that are voted on by coaches, as well as to nominate individuals for these awards. You can see a list of the different awards that are presented there by the KWCA. There's the KWCA Coach of the Year by class, which will now include both the big and girl, or the large and small classes for the girls wrestling, as well as assistant coaches, official of the year, administrator of the year, middle school coach, youth coach, team support person, media of the year, and contributor of the year. Again, those awards are all either voted on by members or nominated by member coaches and voted on by the KWCA board. In addition, consider honoring individuals that have dedicated their life to the sport of wrestling with a nomination for the Hall of Fame. You must put together a detailed write-up with their career information, and I'd encourage you to work with Doug Broadfoot of Heston High School, who is our Hall of Fame chairman, on the nomination process. Just so you know that on February 1st, we will open up our website that's specifically designed for the nominations for awards. That's www.kwcaforms.org. Another set of awards that we're very proud of are academic awards. The academic awards recognize both boy and girl wrestlers at the junior or senior level individually based on their cumulative GPA and have certain additional wrestling requirements for them. In addition, you can consider nominating your team based on the fall 2020 unweighted GPA for your district and or regional team only. In order to be considered for a team academic award, you must have 7 or more boy wrestlers on your district or, again, regional squad, or you'll need to have 6 or more girl wrestlers competing on your district and / regional squad to be eligible for consideration. Questions and GPA confirmations will be coordinated by Shane Miller, who is our KWCA academic chairperson and the guidance counselor at Norton High School. All KWCA awards and nominations must be submitted online by Friday, March 5th at 3:30 p.m. The last thing we'd like to share with you is the results of last summer's weight management committee that was put together by the KWCA. The weight management committee focused on a movement at the national level to either realign, readdress, or change the number of weight classes that is part of the National Federation process. the KWCA took a look at data from 41 states through what's called the National Wrestling Coaches Association, OPC. It is their online weight management system, as well as the 2019-2020 alpha and certification data provided by the Kansas High School Activities Association, as well as the National Institute of Health's average height and weight of teenage boys and girls ages 14 to 19. As we look through that, the Weight Management Committee has come back with a recommendation focused on 14 weight classes for boys, and you'll see the distribution that we're recommending based on these national recommendations. This original 14 proposal was put together by a member of the NWCA based on this national data, and it has been picked up on by several states looking to bring a weight class back towards the middle of the weight classes, as well as just dropping one of the upper weight classes at this point in time. If you have any comments or concerns, please let your KWCA board member know. At this point in time, I'd like to recognize Mark Lentz. As we said, Mark is the Executive Director of the Kansas State High School Athletic Activities Association, and he is specifically charged with both the sport of football, which has been very busy for him this fall, as well as the sport of wrestling. Mark, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate you having me.
Mark, lots of things have happened over the past 6 weeks, and you have had to deal with a lot of those things that deal with COVID, with quarantines, the impact on wrestling, spectator limitations, designing a whole new postseason format. You've been very busy. Not only that, but a very busy football season that led right into a very busy start of the wrestling season. Mark, I know there's several things that you have to share with us, and we're hoping that today, by doing this interview this way, we can get firsthand this information right into the wrestling coaches that need to hear it, so they can begin to make plans for the next 8 weeks. So Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Doug, again, appreciate everything the KWCA does, yourself and all your board members and the entire membership, to be honest with you, because it takes a whole group of people to make a successful wrestling season, wrestling program, and just wrestling in general in the state of Kansas. So thank you for all that you guys do. To kind of jump right into it, like Doug said, there's been so many changes, and all the changes that are being made this year, I hope we don't have to repeat ever again. But in a lot of ways, there's been a lot of learning opportunities as well. We may gain some knowledge from some things that we do this year that maybe we can carry forward to future years. But we can just always learn from what we're doing. The one thing I will kind of just go over, and a lot of people have asked the question of why did the board go with the option that they went through with the state series? Well, it had everything to do with what's done in the regular season as well. A lot of the recommendations, considerations that came out from the board and our sports medicine committee and our staff and nationally as well through the NFHS was to create smaller events, to bring fewer wrestlers in, to try and mitigate the spread of COVID-19 the best possible ways we can. We realize that our student athletes are not getting near as sick maybe as adults are, but they are super spreaders. They can spread the virus to their parents, to their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents, and they are the ones getting more and more sick, and their hospitals are full. We're trying to help alleviate some things with our hospitals and help them. We have to do our part. Everybody needs to do their part to, help control this virus and give our true frontline workers an opportunity to breathe as well. So the state tournament, the board wanted to kind of create a situation through the series to keep all events, somewhat small in the best possible ways we could. And the only way to do that was to add more tournament qualifiers to lead into our state tournament. And to do so, one of the first things we looked at was, can we move our state wrestling tournament back a week? Well, the one thing we found out from all of our sites that would not be possible because of contractual obligations that they have at their sites that following week. So we started with our end date and we moved forward. So by doing so, we realized that in our boys class 321A and the boys class 4A, that we needed to start with a district round of competition. Okay. And then with our girls, looking at the pure numbers, I think right now, looking at numbers as of today, we had 977 total girls wrestling this year. Will that number be fluid? Probably so. It's hard to say. You know, our boys numbers as of today, we were down 900 wrestlers from last year. And I know COVID-19 has everything to do with that. So we'll continue to look at these numbers, but with the pure numbers of girls, knowing that what we had last year with one class, two super regionals, it would be too crowded. It wouldn't be right. And if we want to have fan participation at all, whatever that's going to look like come February, then we needed to make our events a lot smaller. So we went 2 divisions, and the best possible split we looked at was to go class 5A and 6A. Those girls would be called Division 1, and 4 through 1A would be Division 2 of the girls. So they would have a district tournament as well, just to purely keep the number of teams down the best possible way. That doesn't mean that things aren't fluid still today, looking at some different things, whether or not that will remain true, as we hope to release something by the end of this week so people have an idea of where they're going to go, who the host schools are. We're still working on finding host sites for especially the first qualifiers, but then working on the other qualifiers as well. In class 6A and 5A boys, they've gone from 2 super regionals now to regionals with basically four regionals instead of 2. That brought their number down, and which was the same as we did with every other class. They just won't start the same week. They'll start a week after. So when we get to that regional round, so basically districts on February 5th of the girls districts, that's a Friday. And the plan right now is to start all of those at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We know that some of those regionals will not be, heavily populated with wrestlers. We don't know exactly. We have a good idea what the max could be now looking at numbers, but we have no idea come entry time. That would mean a weigh-in at 2 o'clock unless other arrangements are made with the, the site and those type of things through us. All of our districts will wrestle out to 6 places. Okay, we're going to medal 4, but we'll wrestle out to 6 because of potential quarantine virus situations. We don't want to have open brackets. The best possible way we can avoid that is to wrestle out to 6, bump somebody up. For example, if I finish second at districts and then I go on to the bracket in my number 2 spot, and all of a sudden now that individual's quarantined, then what we would do is take the 3rd place person, move them up to the 2nd spot, the 4th place person out of that district into the 3rd spot, the 5th place person into the 4th spot. If we have to go to a 6th, then we'll go to a 6th, but we don't know. We hope we don't really, but it's going to be inevitable. We really believe that, just looking at how things have gone to this point. The boys are going to go on in 4A and 321 on Saturday, February the 6th. Those are going to be 12 o'clock noon starts. We're trying to avoid the best possible way we can of people having to motel and those type of things. So 10 o'clock weigh-in, people would have the opportunity to travel too, and they would get home at a reasonable time in the evening as well. Same thing, wrestle out to 4. We're going to medal 4 to wrestle out to 6. When we get those will require seeding meetings because they're the first qualifying tournament. After that, no seeding meetings are required because they go on a bracket, an 8-person bracket after that, based off 1 versus a 4, 1 from one district against number 4 from the other district, 2 versus 3, etc. So then we get into Friday, February 12th, we get into our regional round. Okay, now gets the 6A, 5A boys involved, as well as all the other 2 boys classifications. They're going to be all 8-person brackets at this point in time. And I do believe now all will be 8-person brackets because just some information that I have, it looks like that's going to be the total numbers as we move forward. Those will start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon unless other arrangements are being made. And when I'm talking about other arrangements, we know that there's some of those hosts that I got lined up that don't have school that particular day already. They know that, so they could start just a little bit earlier. It's all about whether or not an individual school can allow people into their facilities. You know, it's COVID-19. You're doing everything you can to mitigate, and this plays into it as well. So weigh-ins would be at 1. We would again wrestle out to 6 places, medal 4. The girls' regionals will follow the next day on the 13th. Same scenario as what I just mentioned, but starting at 12 o'clock. All of the Saturdays are looking at 12 o'clock starts. And then we had to add a sub-state round. The sub-state round are taking the top 4 out of every regional, moving them into the sub-state round. We're matching up basically. Now, if you're doing the math, you got basically 8 potential districts making 1 sub-state in the big scheme of things. It makes for a great tournament. It's going to be a 1-day atmosphere. The girls sub-state on Friday, starting at 3 o'clock. The boys sub-state on Saturday, the 20th, starting at noon. Again, same scenarios. We'll still wrestle out to 6 places, medal 4. And we're also going to give, I should have said this earlier, we're going to give a team award out at every one of these events as well, just so that there's something else added into that as well. Then we're going to get to state. State's completely different, as many of you already have figured out, is that they're now 8-person brackets. They're all 1-day tournaments at state. The way state's going to work out, on Thursday, February 25, the girls Division I will be held at Hartman Arena in Park City. Okay, on Friday, February 26, girls Division II will be held at the Tony's Pizza Event Center in Salina. Also on Friday the 26th, the boys class 5A will be held at Hartman Arena in Park City. On Saturday the 27th, boys 6A at Hartman Arena, boys 4A at Tony's Pizza Event Center, boys 3-2-1 at Gross Memorial Coliseum in Hayes. We know it's not the most perfect scenario for everybody, but we're still wrestling. We're still having a postseason, and we're doing everything we can to get to the end. The state tournament schedule, I'll get it posted soon, but we're going to do the weigh-ins the same as what we just talked about. We're going to go 10 o'clock weigh-ins. We're going to start with the opening ceremonies at 11:45 with a 12 o'clock first round start. We're going to wrestle that out. We'll wrestle out to 6 places, and we will medal 6 at state, just like we always have. We'll also give the top 3 teams a trophy, just like we always have. So we didn't want to change that part of it. We do realize 2 kids will not medal, but you know, that's no different than there were more than obviously than that didn't medal before. Then we'll get all the way through. We'll wrestle our consolation, you know, final. We'll follow the format, then get to the championship finals. We still want to marquee the championship finals. We have talked about this, and we're going to marquee those on one mat at all of our sites this year. Maybe go back to that. Some people have really complained that we combine all the championship matches at once. We're going to, you know, we want to give them the wrestlers their due, and we've tried different scenarios. I think some are good. Some believe, you know, one way's better. Some believe another way's better, but we'll go back and try this for another year and see how that goes as well. That's kind of the scenario. We just continue to hope we can find our host sites. We'll continue to work on it, and I'm still going to release at the end of this week. It may not be without a site, but we'll know what groupings together. Hopefully we'll find a site. If nobody steps up, I guess somebody doesn't get to wrestle this year. But good luck explaining that to your parents. But I look forward to it. We'll see how it goes. That's kind of that. One other thing I just wanted to cover and is that because of quarantines, especially because of quarantines before Christmas break, we had to really provide a lot of late certifications this year and some recertification situations just based off somebody certified, they were injured. They were going to do it again before Christmas, but it didn't happen. We've only had a couple of those situations. You have to provide a letter to me via email, and then I'll provide a late certification letter. And basically, it's no different than before, except for the fact that, say today, you know, I was going to certify today, you know, being January the 5th. Well, you could do so at any time during the day, you know, practice, after practice, you still have to pass a hydration assessment. Well, if I'm supposed to wrestle tomorrow, or I'm supposed to wrestle Friday's my first event, or Saturday, or whatever day it is my first event after doing the certification, I still have to make scratch weight one time. Okay. Once I've made that scratch weight at that event, then I'm going to get my 2-pound allowance after that. We also want to remind everybody that doing a little bit late certification, that you still have to get 50% of your competition weigh-ins at that weight, if that's the weight you're going to wrestle in the postseason. And I just wanted everybody to remind, and that'll be part of that email letter that I provide back. And that kind of helps with that situation. But what are the questions, Doug, can I kind of help and answer for coaches?
Well, you know, it's excellent, Mark, and I'll be honest, this was kind of a new one on me as you were talking, because I don't think I read it quite this way, so it's on me. Alternating weekends, so district weekend, girls Friday, boys Saturday, correct?
That is correct.
Did I understand that then the regional weekend would alternate, and the boys would go on Friday, the girls would go on Saturday?
That is true. The board wanted to be equal, treating girls and boys equally. So they wanted to alternate those in that manner.
Okay, so those two sets alternate. Then the following weekend, which would be that sub-state weekend, is that go back to girls on Friday, boys
on Friday, boys on Saturday.
Okay, I thought I heard you say that.
I would love to be able to put everybody on Saturday, but we knew that created some situations with coaches. You know, transportation, you know, just, you know, purely that part of it. So we wanted to separate them the best we could for everybody.
Right. And I know our official numbers are down a little bit this year for officials as well. So I think that gives a site the ability to host a 2-day event, but basically you've got 2 different tournaments happening over the course of that weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're down about 50 officials this year statewide. I mentioned the wrestlers. We're down about 50 officials. All of these tournaments, we're not going to use any more, except for state. We're not going to use any more than 2 mats at each site so that we don't move too fast. We move at a good, but I will assign no more than 3 officials at those sites as well so that we can spread that out. But we're just trying to do some things. We realize that we've increased some costs. We've done some things such as that. This isn't about making money. This is about getting to wrestle, because there's money to be made when it comes down to it. When it comes to that, you guys are facing that right now when you're hosting your own events. State, we will run 3 mats at state for the first round only. After that, we will go down to 2 mats, and we will have that extra mat to be able to rotate, or if we got serious injuries, those type of things, so we can wrestle without delay and those type of things. Just kind of gives us that opportunity.
Gotcha. And Mark, did I see, I think I've read in that state postseason information that was sent in December, that teams should not plan on being able to be on the mat the night before.
Yeah, Doug, great question. Yeah, we've made that determination. Some of that with our sites. Not all the sites had the same, but it does cost to disinfect the arena if we could keep everybody. But we know it's hard to keep all of our people in one place. And just purely without having just scheduled practice times, it would be impossible to constantly clean and mitigate and do the things that we can do this year. So there'll be no practices the night before. We realize that some high schools will be used, but we also realize that we're not starting as early so that people could practice at home before they travel, if they're going to travel to stay at a motel and or come the morning of.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Mark, one of the things, and I think you kind of talked about this as you were breaking down some numbers, we had talked a little bit about the fact that possibly in some extreme weight classes, we could, especially at the district level, we might see a three-person bracket. Have you talked about that anymore? Or?
Yeah, we have a little bit. We've got a board meeting next week. I'm just going to run it by them, but we're talking about potentially if we have less than 4 running a round robin situation instead of a bracket, and we may even look at if it's just 4. So if more than 4, we're on the bracket. Less, if we're 4 or less, then I'm not sold on whether or not 4 is the number or less than 4 is the number to go round robin. So we're still looking at that scenario as well. Good question.
Right. Well, and I definitely think, regardless of what that number you come up with, especially with that 3-person bracket, a kid may have already been waiting, a week to 10 days before they even stepped on at district, and may step on, get a bye. Now he's got 1 match and he's done. So,
Yeah.
so getting a couple of matches for those kids, I think, would be important. But yeah, we'll look forward to getting that piece of information back from you. Well, you've done a great job. I've gone through my notes from the first time we talked, and I can't think of a lot more at this point in time.
Yeah, this is going to be ever changing and ever moving. We're continuing. We're going to try to get as much information out as we possibly can. But we realize, with all the different changes that are taking place with quarantines and things like that, we just want to be able to get information out. We want to be able to have our tournaments. We know that the seasons have been shortened a little bit, which is unfortunate. It's not something you really want to do, but whatever we could do. The one common theme I kept hearing from people early on was, man, we want to be able to have a postseason. So we kind of had to work backwards a little bit, and we're going to at least have that opportunity, and our sites are on board. It's just now a matter of getting there and doing all we can to get there. We can't relax. If we relax, we're going to be in trouble. And the virus is not going away. And I know that some people believe in it, some don't. This isn't about politics. This isn't about people's belief. This is about giving everybody the opportunity. We have 105 counties in the state of Kansas. We have about 105 different ways of contact tracing, of quarantining, of who gets quarantined, those type of things. So we're just trying to get the best opportunities we can.
Yeah, well, and we definitely appreciate that. Mark, I know also the last time you shared a little bit, if you don't mind sharing, a lot of folks are used to being able to email maybe Janet or you. Yeah. I'll let you address that real quick.
Yeah, and that is true. And yeah, just email me if you've got questions, concerns. At this point in time, I do not have an assistant. My assistant, Janet, stepped away, took another position somewhere else, and she is sorely missed here. There's an intern in right now. She's sending out some weight loss stuff today, and she's a college student. She's catching on real good. Sending emails, met with me all morning, and then I'll have a new assistant that begin on January the 19th here in the office, but she'll be obviously playing catch up as well. Be patient. We're going to try to get as much information now as you can, but I just ask everybody be patient with me. And, I think we're all on the same page. We all want to get there. We want to give our kids an opportunity. And I know that people are angry, people are mad, and I've heard it, believe me, but we got to do everything we can to give these kids the best opportunities. And it's not perfect, but it's the scenario that we have, and we're going to work with it.
Yeah, I've got 40 plus kids on our team, and I explained that to them again yesterday, that hey, there's a process, and there's a process, and there's a way. And now we've just got to put ourselves in that position to do everything we can to be at that spot where we can start the series. And so that's our focus, is how do we take care of our team, our program, and do the right thing. So I definitely encourage our coaches with that mindset, because we know we're very passionate about the sport. We're also very passionate about our kids, and like you said, getting our kids to a point where, especially seniors, that many of them have been with us their entire career, you want to see them be able to finish on certain terms. So,
yeah, absolutely. Coaches are coaching more than just wrestling this year.
Absolutely.
As well as every year, but we've added a whole new dynamic to it this year.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, we appreciate this. We appreciate you meeting with us again, because this information is vital. We want people to be able to hear it firsthand. And I think for them to hear you and the things you had to share will hopefully cut down on a lot of the questions, and it'll be a great reference point. So we appreciate you doing this, and we appreciate your partnership, you working with us, because we definitely would not be in a good spot right now without you. So thanks for stepping up and leading.
Thank you very much for all you're doing, and all our coaches for all their hard work this year.
Thanks. Have a great day, Mark.
Thanks, Doug.